All right, so we are now live. Give me a second to send this out on Gab, and we will get started. I will say right up front that unfortunately, due to working a very, very long day today and spending most of my time off since getting home, I have been, working on an actual fucking commentary to post. So that'll be up tonight. I'm happy to say. Not a whole lot to it, really. Unfortunately, it's just kind of a. I think I say it's like a long-witted condemnation. That's pretty much what it is, and it is because I have not had the time in weeks to do much of anything. My job has been working me harder right in the last few weeks than any time during the summer. I'm not really sure why that is, but they actually managed to fuck themselves up a bit by putting too much on me. Because like I was putting in, and over the weekend I did like 9 fucking reports over just the weekend. 9 reports. And I'm not exaggerating that number. I had a day where I did 3 fucking cases. Got all that done. Sent it all in, and I got an email from the regional manager basically complaining like, what's with all these reports? You're like creating a wave. You're sending in all these reports. And I just said, like, listen, I'm not fucking assigning myself these cases. You're assigning me these fucking cases. I'm doing the reports. I'm fucking sending them in. Don't bitch to me that I'm sending shit in on time, and that's a fucking problem. So, I mean, it's one of the things about my company that I can't stand. It's like it's never enough. They work you like a fucking farm-yard animal, and when you do the fucking work, they complain. So I'm sorry. I don't want this to be a stream where I just bitch about my job because everyone does that. Everyone has a shitty job. But it's like with my job, it's just never fucking good enough for them. I put in a 12-hour day today of just being out on the job. And I still have, I should be finishing 2 reports tonight. One's definitely not fucking happening. One is. I have to get the one done tonight. So that's another hour of work for me. And they just don't care. They don't give a shit at all. So yeah, I think that eventually I'm probably gonna have to start looking for work again if there's no lull between now and the winter. Like if there is a fucking time period where they give me fucking less work, I go back to something that resembles 40 fucking hours. Maybe then I won't fucking look for work to quit my goddamn job. But it's like, don't work somebody 80 hours a week and then bitch at them. I don't give a shit if it is the regional manager. You can suck my fucking cock. Don't bitch at me that I'm doing too much fucking work when I'm not in charge of assigning it. All right, so because of that, and the reason I bring that up, the reason I'm complaining about that is because of that, and doing so much work today after I got home on the commentary to get it done today, because if I didn't get it done today, it wouldn't be getting done this fucking week. I don't have anything prepared. I have a whole shitload of links that I could look through and likely, as I have in the past, talk about in a more podcast format where I just go from article to article to article. I want that to be the standard that I have for these streams because that is very popular based on your guys' reaction to them. The biggest streams that I have are when I do that format, when I go from article to article, from topic to topic, and give my opinion and just lay it out there, and more like not so much news, but opinion format. That's very popular with people. People really like that style when I do just that. So I want that to be a standard for these kind of streams. But because of my job, I can't do that today. My hope is that I will be able to do that sometime this month, because eventually they have to give me a fucking day off. But for today, that's just not going to be the case. I do not have the time to do it. So instead, I guess what I'm going to do is that I'm going to turn it over to the chat for you guys to give me some topics to talk about. And I will give you an opinion on that But in terms of like going through articles, and I have a whole shitload saved, and some are bullshit, some are actually legit issues, which I will get into when I have the chance to do so. But I do have some very, very juicy articles saved, and look forward to that stream when I can get around to doing it, because that sort of content is something that I could package into a Patreon video, patron back video. I have a whole shitload of articles that I need to get through, but look forward to that, because I will do it, because it's just a matter of having to do the prep work and then getting it all together and just doing that stream. But I got some very good articles to do in the future. It's just not today. So I see a lot of fucking people in the chat saying nigger over and over and over again. I'm not sure if that's what you guys want me to talk about, because it's pretty funny to me how many people are out there that are more or less within our community or on our side, the skeptosphere, as one would say, that do not give a shit about any of this, and that's pretty much their videos that they keep doing. I've seen at least 3 videos where the opinion is I don't give a shit. And it kind of begs the question of why people are doing a video. But it is funny that it is something we're talking about just because it is PewDiePie. And I probably, if I had any time today, I probably would have gotten in a Skype call with Sargon and told him that he needs to reach out to PewDiePie, try to get him in a stream. Now would be the time for Sargon to do something like that, would be to put pressure on PewDiePie to get him in a stream, because I think that would change the name of the game. And it would be a great conversation that I would love to see. It would be on the same. It would probably be bigger than his original conversation with JonTron, which to me was a very big deal. That was a very big deal for me. In terms of like the quote unquote culture war, in terms of like trying to quote unquote reclaim the internet, at least for us, and everything else. I thought that was a very big deal. And I think that a conversation between someone like Sargon and PewDiePie would be very big for a multitude of reasons. And what I would appreciate from it the most would be a boost to Sargon to get him to 1 million. I've talked about that with him, even when he was back, probably right around 200,000 subs, probably even less than that. I do remember having a conversation with him then about how I believe then, and I believe now, that he is on his way to 1 million subs, and that will be a big deal. It will be a very big deal for many people, and I would include myself in that. That I think it'll be a lot of good to see him reach a point where he can't be denied anymore, where you can try to dismiss him, you can write your fucking shit, your hit pieces, your shit pieces at him. But I think that once you reach a certain level of notoriety, that you have to be taken seriously. And I think that for Sargon, it is 1 million subs. People can dismiss that, but that's the standard that I have for when things change, really change in a big way. Because for somebody like the Amazing Atheist, who was very big in terms of internet atheism, very notorious, it took him 11 years to get to 1 million subs. And for Sargon, it's taking him, what, 2 years? If even that? To go from like 30K or something to 700? That's a big deal. And, I just think that it'll change things, I think. So let me head on over to Super Chats. Thank you, Mitch, for the £2. Nigerian Prince, your opinion on anime coming out last 1 to 2 seasons. I haven't watched fucking anime in like 3 years. Also, is PewDiePie a nigger? I can't really say whether PewDiePie is a nigger or not. He sounds pretty white to me. He sounds like him and I would have a lot in common in terms of speaking about, white identity and the Negra. I tried to post a video to Twitter, but it wouldn't let me for some reason. I tried to post it twice. I'm not sure why it wouldn't let me, but it was a scene from Django Unchained where I forget the name of the brothers. It was like the Baskin brothers, something like that, where they had beat up Django, or they beat up his wife, or something like that. I think it was that they beat up the wife. They whipped her. And so Django is at the plantation of a slaver named Big Daddy, and he goes out to the fields and finds the one brother who's like a preacher, and he runs into him about to whip some black girl because she broke eggs. I remember that. And he runs up and shoots the slavers, and first he whips the one, and then shoots him. But I was gonna post the scene. It's got like this scary, like, is it not cello but violin? I think it was like just very fast violin, very spooky, creepy. He's like, this'll, by the end of this'll teach you not to break eggs, and he's like cracking the whip. I was gonna post that, and I was gonna say, like, meanwhile on PewDiePie's stream, something like that, as a joke. That, or I tried to find a good clip of Big Daddy when he's about to go on the raid to kill Django and the doctor in the wagon, where it's a trap, and where he says, we got to remember why we're here. We're over here. We're out here to go kill a nigger. It was like not a coon and like his nigger sympathizer, something like that. I can't remember the exact line. I was going to put that in instead, but it wouldn't do that either, so I just gave up. Then I started having video card problems. But I wanted to do something like that just as a joke because it made me laugh. Just because the overreaction to it is just so funny. I wish people would do videos about that, show the actual reaction to it, all the articles that have been written. I know Sargon did a stream. I only watched a little portion of it, but I didn't get to read the Game Informer article. But I actually got it for free. I think I mentioned this on Twitter. I got my GameStop membership renewed in the magazine subscription. I got it for free because I know a guy there. And I'm going to get the next year's worth of magazines, and I want to see if they actually write an article in the next edition of Game Informer. And I actually think that the chief editor, or the editor-in-chief, will write an article because he is very much a social justice fucking cocksucker. He's open about it. I remember reading a few letters from him in the past, and he's a total fucking white knighting, just cuckold fuck. And I think he'll write something about it, and I want to read that. And maybe I'll do a video on it or mention it in a stream. Something like that. I thought it would be amusing just to see, because Game Informer is trash. They're just the mouthpiece for the gaming industry. They literally work for a distribution network. That's what they do. They're there to shill fucking and hawk product. That's what they do. I mean, you can't be the biggest fucking consumerist cocksucker in the industry at the same time taking a moral position. And that's actually one of the things that I might do a video on at some point, is that several articles have come out saying that corporations in America are now the moral voice of our society. Corporations. It's a joke. I mean, I've seen articles praising the diversity, and this is true. People have seen me tweet this out. Articles praising the diversity at Lockheed Martin, defense contractors, companies responsible for mass murder on a scale that society and civilization has never seen, in terms of the lethal power at our fingertips, and just the frivolousness of so much of what we do in this world at this point, especially in the Middle East. It doesn't make the people that we're bombing better or anything. Fuck any fucking, I won't say sand nigger, but that was what I was going to use, that phrase, to say any person out there that's taking up arms against us, fuck you. I don't give a shit that you die. You take up arms against the United States and you die, good. Fuck you. You deserve to die. I have no sympathy whatsoever for terrorists. None at all. That doesn't justify what we do. It doesn't justify torture. It doesn't justify anything on our part. But that's because I hold the United States to a high standard, and I hold terrorists to no standard at all. Because they're fucking no better than savages from a bygone era. They're no different. They're a fucking living relic. The United States is in every way better than any of those people. But we actually have to live up to a high standard. We should be the highest standard in this world. We're capable of that. We don't need to do the stupid shit that we do. I'm not sure where I was going with this, but I just thought I would mention that. Where was I going with that? I don't even remember. I think I snapped into fucking nationalist mode, and I think that's gonna ruin this stream. I'm sorry. I said sand nigger, and it didn't even have a point. Oh, that's what happens. Anyways, let's get back to the fucking super chats. I just like hearing your voice, Senpai. What's your opinion on the new It movie? I actually watched Angry Juan's review of it, and him and who was it, other Joe that was there? I forget whoever else was there. It was two guys with him. One guy I've never seen before is a friend of Joe's, and I think it might have been other Joe. And other Joe and Angry Joe liked it. They actually said it was pretty good. I think they gave it like an 8 and a 9, so it's pretty high. I've also seen people say that they liked it and that was a decent movie. I haven't seen it. I might, text a friend of mine and try to see it if I'm not fucking working until I put my fucking bread in my mouth and kill myself. Maybe if in between the time that I want to kill myself and I'm actually not working, maybe I can go see the fucking movie, hang out with a friend, do something other than fucking work. But yeah, I've seen people say that it's actually not that bad. I don't know whether that's true or not. I've just seen one review of it. One review and people commenting that it's not that bad. Apparently, Sargon also hit up PewDiePie and he got turned down. That's too bad. If I had more time, I would have talked to him on Skype today about that. I got another person donating saying that he already talked to him. Thanks for that, Dr. Coke. Dr. Coke. You sound like a fucking 19th century street doctor, sir. They used to do that. They used to peddle cocaine as a wonder drug. That's true. Yamate Oni-chan. I think that means please don't in Japanese. Oni-chan, does that mean brother? I can't remember. But Yamate means please don't. My opinion on the United States relationship with Israel, that's way too complicated. I've already talked about that in the past anyways. It's a boring subject. People talk about that way too much anyways. I says in chat that I am a nerd and he hates me. Why don't you go watch or post another fucking disgusting image of some fat fucking Asian cow, probably with a million PTSDs in your fucking Twitter account, bro. Go post some more disgusting images in your fucking Twitter. You're not as bad as fucking Apabend. Apabend, I swear to God, I'm going to fly to Indonesia and fucking just deal with him. I'm going to correct him, as certain people would say, in terms of what he posts on fucking Twitter. He'll post some shit that I don't mind, and he'll post shit that's disgusting. But yeah, you're not as bad, Tyler, despite the shit you post. You're not as bad as Apabend. He needs to be corrected. I'm not your fucking friend, Tyler. Shut your fucking mouth. I'm gonna take your fucking wrench away. Be quiet. By the way, I also have I'm only on my second screwdriver for tonight, and that's how little time I've had. I'm only on my second. It's not right. I'm gonna need a third to get to that fucking report. Oh God. Just garbage fucking just my live chat is just filled with garbage today. How bald is Tim Pool under his beanie? He's pretty bald, but that's okay. I think he should own it, really. But the thing is that like I'm not gonna give the guy shit for being bald. I don't really think anybody should. I posted the one. He posted an image of himself on Twitter, and I reposted it, and I called him a Nazi or something like that as a joke. And I remember that was funny. And it wasn't because he's bald or anything. It's just that he looks a lot different without his hat. If you haven't seen his image, he really does. But I think you should own it. Just get rid of the cap. You know, there are plenty of people even my age that are fully bald at this point, and I think the best thing you could do is own it. But if he wants to wear the beanie, it's up to him. I don't really care. Someone asking, I find mixed race. If I am Irish, English, French, and French Canadian, and Dutch, so I'm pretty fucking white as it relates to fucking race. If you consider the Irish white, that is. I'm not really sure what the standard protocol is for fucking white nationalists and who is and who isn't white. I don't really know. I know the fucking French Canadians are pretty fucking white. They're also pretty cucked. We got another. Actually, we got two more. Super chat from Will M. Oh fuck you! I remember you said the other day somewhere, bro, how you say your last name. I think it's Will May. Is that how you say your name, Will May? I think that's what you said it was pronounced. I hope PewDiePie knows better than to apologize. Yeah, really. I really hope he doesn't apologize, and people need to hammer that home to him. Yeah, I absolutely agree, man. I mean, it's really disappointing to see anybody saying to him that's decent-minded that he should apologize. He really shouldn't, because that's what they're looking. They're looking to draw blood from him, and that's what the apology would be, without any doubt. They want him to apologize, to draw blood from that, to then seriously go after him. Because the thing is, it's all power politics. People have to understand this as it relates to social justice types. This is not about anything other than fucking power politics. Because when you apologize, let's say somebody said to me, wow, Louis, you need to apologize publicly because I heard you use the word sand nigger in this stream. I heard you use that word. I want you to apologize publicly. Not to me personally, because I personally was offended, but you should apologize to the public. You need to apologize publicly for using that word. What you're trying to do is to get me to admit that I have guilt over saying that word. That's what you want out of me, because then you can use that and extrapolate from that to say that you are more virtuous than me and you were right to demand that apology of me, and I am guilty, and that's why I'm apologizing. That's what it's about. It's about power politics. It's what it's all about. None of these fucking people are sincere. If they are, they're on the ground level and they're fucking useful idiots, and they're not worth apologizing to anyways. Anyone that is a part of that movement, the social justice movement, intersectionality, all the rest, they only care about power politics. There are endless examples showing that. So to not understand that at this point is your own fucking idiocy. That's you being the idiot. I don't give a shit what these people hold over my head. If they say to me, oh, Louis, we know who your employer is. We're going to contact your employer. We heard you say this racial slur. We're going to contact them and say that you, under a pseudonym, on your own time, in a stream online, said this racial slur with no connection to the company or anything else, to what I do for my job. We're going to report that to your company. We're going to dox you. We're going to do whatever else. We want you to apologize. The answer is going to be go right ahead. Go dox me. Go contact my employer. Go do whatever you need to do, because either way, I'm more ethical. I'm a better fucking person than you, because I have never engaged in that activity. And I'm more moral. You can say whatever you want to about morality. You're the fucking immoral piece of shit. You are. But it's not about anything like that. It's not about morals. It's not about fucking ethics. It's not about anything. It's not about principle. It's about power politics and convenience for you to pursue your own fucking end. That's what it's all about. So you're never going to fucking coerce me. Never. And anyone that gets coerced is either an idiot or weak. So no one should ever apologize. It is an admission of guilt that they're seeking to draw out of you for their own ends, and it is a mission to everyone that you as a person are weak. Never apologize. Never. Mitch is saying in chat that how pasty the Irish are, that they are very white. And yes, the Irish are very pasty. Not all Irish, but it is very much a characteristic. And we also have big ears and big fat fucking noses. And that is also a sign of being fucking white. I remember Sargon did a video a while back talking about the conquerors, I think, of Egypt. And a lot of them were Roman. He was making fun of how big their ears and fucking noses were, and I was laughing at that because it's so true. The more like boyish you look in terms of like, because I'm very much baby. I have a baby face, and that is very much a characteristic of the whites. Is a fucking baby faced, big nose, big ear, fucking goony looking fucker. Oh man, I'm no different, you know. As I said before, man, I top out at an 8. I'm real. All right, I keep it 100. Let me get back into the chat. Oh man, hold on, gotta take a sip. Oh, someone brought up the CIA. I think that's what I was gonna mention when I was going on my rant earlier about our Middle Eastern policy and the difference between our civilizations and our civilization and the fucking barbarians. Something I was gonna bring up the CIA about something. Oh yeah, that was one of the things. People were ranting about the fucking diversity of the CIA. Like that was a legit article. I know I have it saved somewhere. I couldn't fucking believe it. They're complaining about Trump. That's the complaint. Not that they're fucking any more competent than they've ever been in their history. You know, 1947, whatever it was, onward, that they've been completely fucking incompetent. Like, that's the complaint currently of the CIA. Not that they're fucking worthless and fucking directly engage and enable fucking terrorists that work against us and kill our troops. No, that's fine. It's the fact that they're not fucking diverse enough. This fucking world, man. I swear to fucking God. I had, what was it? It may have been that interview. I am not sure if it was or wasn't. It was. I watched that 60-minute Steve Bannon interview and it was largely worthless. But the part where that fucking old cunt that works for 60 Minutes starts bringing up James Clapper, it's like James Clapper should be in a fucking cell. That goddamn piece of shit, that lying, incompetent cock sucker, getting in front of Congress multiple times and perjuring himself, lying bald-faced to the public and to Congress itself over what? Mass surveillance, unconstitutional mass surveillance upon the American public. Lied multiple times about it, resigned because of it. Doesn't face any shame, doesn't face any fucking scrutiny whatsoever by fucking anyone. And you're going to bring up James Clapper as anything? Oh, Steve Bannon is this and that. He's a fucking white supremacist. But no, Steve fucking Clapper. James Clapper, that's who we're going to fucking name drop. He should be in a fucking prison cell. He is a piece of shit. He is a traitor. He is somebody that has worked against and has fucking violated the rights on a mass scale of American citizens. Fuck him. If we lived in any kind of country with any kind of justice, he would be in a fucking prison cell. Never fucking, and that's the thing. Even Steve fucking Bannon dropped the ball. Even he did in that interview. Unless they edited out his response, because that would have been my fucking response. James Clapper lied to Congress multiple times to cover up fucking unconstitutional activity that the government is still engaging in. He should be in a prison cell. Or at least prosecuted. But yeah, that's the thing. You know, the intelligence agencies, the CIA, all the rest, they're allowed to get away with everything. They're allowed to do whatever the fuck they want. They're allowed to be fucking incompetent and just waste our fucking money to whatever degree they feel like. And there's no accountability whatsoever. All right, so now that fucking rant is done with, yeah, Graham, I saw that article you sent me, bro. I gotta look into it. I can't comment on it before I actually even read it. All right. Let's see here. I guess we could talk about that poll that I put up earlier in the week where I talk about whether you would, out of the two choices that you'd have to take, if you were given the choice of fucking a fat girl or monk-like celibacy for an extended period, which would you choose? And to me, the obvious choice was, and many people said this as well, that the choice was celibacy. And to me, it's a no-brainer. I mean, it says more about the guy than it does the girl in terms of fucking a fat woman. Okay, if you fuck a land whale, it says more about the guy than the woman. Obviously, it says about the woman that she's fucking lazy or she has a mental disorder. Who knows? Maybe it's both. But it is hard to get that fat. And when you are, let's say, not even 5'4", let's say 5'6". You're 5'6", okay? And I had a case recently where this was the case, where I was investigating somebody that was like this, except for shorter, 5'4". You're 5'6", and you are 320 pounds, okay? How the fuck do you even manage to be that large? How is it even conceivable? You know, I spent today 12 hours of my day in a fucking vehicle. That's half my goddamn days of the week is being in my vehicle, working, not doing anything really physical. I did a little bit of physical activity today. In the second case I worked, going around trying to get information. But, you know, I spent at a minimum 7 hours sitting in my vehicle doing shit other than just waiting for somebody to show up. And thankfully I got some footage and, you know, that's what's required of me. But, you know, to reach that weight, it would be like to reach that weight, for me to reach that weight, I would not engage in any physical activity any days of the week, would not work out at all, would not jog at all, and I'd eat shit like fast food and cake every goddamn day of the week. That's the only way that I could ever, maybe in a year's time, reach that fucking weight. It's amazing to me. I mean, again, it speaks to the issue of the individual. But again, even in the category where, or on the issue itself, where we're talking about people that fat. All right, and I'm sorry if anyone listening to this is fat. Like, I'm not trying to make this a stream where I say fuck you and shit on you or everything else. I'm just trying to comprehend it even. But on the issue of the fat girl, the issue is of the guy that's willing to fuck the fat girl. It says something about you. It does. Because if you are yourself fat, I'm giving you a pass. Two fatties that are going to defy physics and fuck, whatever. Call somebody. Call somebody that deals in fucking, call P.T. Barnum. Raise him from the grave and go at it. But I don't see that a lot. I really don't. I see a whole hell of a lot of skinny guys that are not that ugly, dating women that are shorter than them, that are probably more than double their weight. I think it says a lot more about the men than it does the woman, from my perspective. If that woman was a cat lady at 30, I'd find it believable. I would be like, well, I mean, she's fat. I mean, she's grotesque. There's a lot of people out there that look at her and go, fuck that. You couldn't pay me to fuck that. And yet, there are guys that are so fucking desperate for pussy that they will fuck women like that. And I had somebody say to me that they couldn't do it literally because they wouldn't be able to get it up. And that's the position I'm in. You know, I'm not here to be mean. I'm not here to shit on people and to drive people into depression where they eat more cake or whatever it is, whatever they do to remedy their issues. But it's like, you couldn't pay me. You couldn't fucking rape me to get me off on that. You know, it just wouldn't happen. I'm not sure. I mean, go watch the Gavin McInnes videos where he talks about this. And the images that he shows, and they're fucking revolting. They're always revolting. And he makes jokes like, I would fuck every one of those women. That's one of the jokes he makes. But The joke is that these women are fucking so repulsive that it's like you couldn't even get off fucking them. Maybe I'm being mean. Maybe I'm taking this so far. But, you know, I want less interviews and less studies done on the fat fucking women. We all know what their problem is, to at least some degree. They're fucking lazy, and there's something going on. They need to eat less, work out more, and there's something else going on with their mental issue, the health. Okay? I want a study on the men that are less than half their fucking weight, that are not even ugly, that fuck them. Those are the people that need to be fucking studied by researchers. I want to hear a scientist give an opinion on the men that fuck super fat women, that are not fat themselves. Again, complete pass to the men that are fat. Pass. That fuck fat women. The guys that are thin that fuck fat women. I need an explanation. I need one, because I don't get it. Maybe this is like me, you know, not being into whatever fucking weird fucking fetishes that are out there. Maybe that's the issue between me and them. But I am lost. I'm glad everyone's here to hear this enlightening commentary, by the way. Aren't you glad you're listening to this instead of like me actually doing this in a podcast format where I'm covering actual issues? One of the issues I'm going to talk about is fucking North Korea and some of the like the suggestions I act like the credible like political opinions that I have that I can offer in terms of how to remedy the situation as it relates to North Korea, Japan, and South Korea, and China even. Like, that's some of the commentary I'm going to give, but aren't you glad that I'm skipping over that to talk about fat women? Oh, God. Okay. So Will says, thanks, Will, for the donation. Don't assume people know not to apologize. We don't know how well PewDiePie knows this territory. Yeah, that is true. He needs to be shown what's happening to other. Well, that's why he needs to get in a goddamn stream with Sargon. That's what I'm saying here. You know, anyone that's unaware of this by now, like, they need to take a step out. They need to reach out. They need to do something to at least prepare themselves for this. They need to get shocked out of their system of thinking that these people are in any way honest or in any, I mean, that these people aren't just fucking full-blown, like, I don't want to say psychopaths, but sociopaths or have some kind of borderline personality disorder, whether it's just honest because of their own issues or it's because of the ideology that they subscribe to so deeply. Like, I'm not here to play armchair psychiatrist, but it's very clear to me that these fucking people are out of their minds and they are out to fucking destroy you. So to not take them seriously and to not see them for who they are is to set yourself up to be targeted and to have your life potentially ruined. You know, people want to write this off as, oh, PewDiePie's a multimillionaire. He'll be fine. It's like, okay, but maybe, yeah, maybe he gets destroyed this time. But, I mean, would you rather, you know, have be you in that crosshair, or would you rather be him and you have his back? And that way you can, you know, if they hit a hard target like him, you can make sure you can rebuff that so they get damaged in the end to make it harder in the future for them to target somebody else. Otherwise, they target a soft target, say me or somebody else who's a fucking nobody, who has no power or no money. They target somebody like me, we get rolled over. And no one really cares because no one really knows us. But if you go after a hard target like PewDiePie, it's worth backing that guy up. Because one, he's in the right, they're in the wrong. Because they're cynical, they don't mean anything they say, other than fucking the occasional shit that slips out that exposes their fucking sociopathic fucking issues. Other than that honest position that sometimes leaks out, these people are completely fucking disingenuous and dishonest. They have no legitimacy, no credibility at all on anything. But yeah, I mean, he needs to reach out. That's the issue. He can only help himself by reaching out to somebody like Sargon, who, by all accounts, is offered, again, to help him, to speak to him. If he doesn't want to reciprocate that, then it's up to him. You know what I mean? Short Fat Otaku says, your love of Asian women is dooming the white race. Well, I've said, and I don't know if I need to make a video on this at some point, that the future of the white race is a racial merger with East Asians. That is the only way that the white race will survive, is by a racial merger with East Asians. And I think that people need to get on board with that. I've had a lot of people speaking in favor of that. They say they agree, and that is something that they are willing to do or are currently participating in. So yes, the future of the white race is racial merger with East Asians. We will, in the West, will be better off with it, or for it, whatever. It is the future. It is inevitable. Accept it. That's what I'm saying. You know, it'd be funny if like that's my secret going into the future. Like, let's say I ever became bigger than I am now. Like, let's say I hit like 2,000 subs or 200,000 subs, something like that. Like, I start reaching like a bigger status, and like one of my closely guarded secrets, like in contrast to the alt-right, is like I preach about like unifying the races, like Asians and whites and all the rest, and I talk about like racial merger and all the race mixing and all the rest. And my secret is that in fact I'm like engaged to a white woman. Like, that's my secret, is that I'm actually hooked up with a white woman. I gotta hide her. Just like that one alt-right guy with a Jewish wife. That's my secret. I'm fucking hooked up with white women. No one can know. Oh man, let me double check that this went out on Gab, because I've had a shitload of supporters join me over there. So if you aren't already on Gab, I would suggest going over there, because it's doing pretty well right now. I got about half the fucking supporters or followers on Gab as I have on Twitter, and it took me fucking years to get the 4,000 that I have on Twitter, and now I'm at like 20-something hundred on Gab. So it's pretty big right now on Gab. So if you aren't there already, I'd suggest checking it out. I'm trying to do my best to get on there more. It's so easy to just, hit my app on my phone for Twitter and just tweet some bullshit out. So it's a lot easier to do shit on Twitter for me, but I'm trying to do more on Gab, because I think the platform is doing well. If they can update it more, fix the mobile app is garbage. They need to fix that. And the what's his face? Something A. Gorbin. I forget what his Torben, whatever the fuck his name is. The guy that owns Gab. Guy needs to get out of his own way. Seriously, like I don't mind the guy. I've interacted with the guy before. I don't think he's like a bad guy, but he needs to get out of his own way. Seriously. All right, so let's get back to the chat here. It's like fucking Andrew Torba. Yeah, he's an all right guy. I actually don't like the fact that he was supposed to go on Fox News and have like a 20-minute interview, and he got it cut down to like 2 fucking minutes. But that's typical of fucking Fox. Fox is still pretty shitty. I've seen some decent articles from Breitbart. And occasionally I'll cite Breitbart in one of my videos, because they have a decent video every now and then, or decent article. So will what's his face? Paul Joseph Watson. Every now and then he'll put out something decent. I watch his videos now. I've subscribed to him, and every once in a while he'll put up like a decent video. But unfortunately, Fox is still pretty bad. They just, especially people like Tucker Carlson. But Tucker Carlson, what he does is he has these like very, I'm not sure. He's in some ways like a fucking mainstream YouTuber, where his videos are like, or segments are 5 minutes long. And it's like, okay, what can you actually get out of a fucking 5-minute conversation with somebody in a segment? Like you can't get anything from that. It should be 15 minutes or 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. Those should be the segments. And if you have to cut down on the number of guests you have, then cut down. Like, these 5-minute spots are garbage. So, people like Tucker Carlson, I think his show sucks in its format. I don't think he's necessarily like a bad guy. Like, I can stand listening to him, unlike, say, Sean Hannity or others. I don't like listening to them. Rush Limbaugh is insufferable. And Coulter's insufferable. There are a lot of people on the right that I think are completely insufferable. Even oh god, Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro is like 50-50 with me, where like a decent chunk of the time I can listen to him and follow him along, and even and at times agree at least in the points that he's making, and say that it makes it a debatable issue in terms of what he's talking about. But sometimes he just goes down paths where it's like, okay, I have to start questioning like what, and I think I've already talked about this before, but I do think he makes disingenuous points at times. And, you know, maybe at some point I'll do a video on him. I'll gather up some clips of his and do a video on him where I think that occasionally he just makes shitty points and he'll rush through them. And I think it's a tactic. It's not just him naturally speaking fast. I think it's a tactic that he does to try to leap from one position to another, and he'll just drive right through one of the issues. So, but I'm not saying he's necessarily a bad guy. But you know, he does that, you know, and it bothers me. Yeah, Tucker. Someone says Tucker does theater. He knows it's just for laughs. Well, the thing is that he tries to have both sides of it, and this is something that people have really disliked about Milo, is that he tries to be serious at times and also be, you know, what's the word? I can't remember the word for it, but it's irreverent. I think that's the word I want to use. Where he just doesn't take anything seriously. He makes jokes and tries to draw the ire of his enemies and that sort of thing. But then we'll flip and try to make things serious. And it's like, I can follow him there. Because I can definitely take the points that he makes where he wants to be serious. I can follow him there and take him seriously in what he's saying. But I don't think it naturally translates all the time. And I think he gets in trouble because of that. Fairly, because people go from, okay, you're just talking from this to now talking like this. I don't take you seriously. I can take him seriously, but a lot of people don't, and they don't like that about him. Tucker tries that, and I think he does even worse. You can't start laughing in somebody's face and then flip in a second and take it very seriously. He does that all the fucking time from the clips I've seen of him. And a lot of times it doesn't work. There are times where I've seen him take people at face value and take them seriously, and a lot of times those are the best. Or times where he just laughs at people and just allows them to expose themselves as fucking retards. That works too. But he has a real problem with the transition between laughing in somebody's face and then immediately taking what they're saying completely seriously. It doesn't work. But in any case, watch Tucker's interview with Gavin. I don't know. I don't really know how. I'd have to look that up. Gavin used to be a Fox News contributor, so I've seen Gavin on Fox before. He eventually, I think he quit because he was up for like not a partner position, but like where he gets upgraded to like a full-time contributor, and they denied him, so he just quit out of frustration. I remember he did a video on it. Fox is for boomers still. I think they're trying to make that transition to draw in younger viewers, and I think Tucker Carlson's the only guy that's having any kind of success from that. But I don't like those 5-minute fucking segments. I don't like them. He did a fucking interview with Jordan Peterson where it was just shit. Like Jordan Peterson, it takes Jordan Peterson a long time to make a point, even though a lot of the points he makes are very good and very salient. It just takes a while for him to get there to make the point. But the interviews that I've seen him do with Tucker Carlson, I think I've seen 2. They've both been fucking dog shit. Because unless you're Ben Shapiro talking a mile a minute, you're never going to get through what you need to get through with Tucker. It's not a good show. If anyone has any fucking back channels to fucking Fox, just tell them, like, cut out 2 fucking guests and just add more time to the existing ones. You know, seriously. It just makes it a better show. Let's see here. I think we... Oh, Graham asks, do you watch Styx, Hex, and Hammer? I don't really. I was actually surprised because people talk about that guy as if he's God himself, like God incarnate. The dude only has like 140,000 subs. I was like, I thought this guy was supposed to be a big fucking deal. This guy's have 140 fucking thousand subs. You know, it's like he's like, actually, how many subs does Mundane Matt have? Actually, let me look that up. Now that I say that. Yeah, fucking Mundane Matt has more fucking subs than Styx Hexenhammer. Like, it's one of the things I don't understand. Like, people treat this guy as a god, like he's the biggest name on YouTube. I mean, I'm not gonna say he's a nobody, but he's you know, closer to me than he is to Sargon, if we're being real. So I don't know. I've watched a few of his videos. I guess it's not really the point of the question, but I've watched him before. Like I guess it's a difference of like format. I don't really think that the commentary he offers is necessarily bad, but it just again he's a less intelligent, less salient Jordan Peterson. You know, takes a long time to make a point. Does make a point, but is it worth the wait? You know, I don't think he's a bad person to listen to. It's just, you know, the pacing of what he talks about, it just takes a while. And other than that, I mean, he's articulate. He doesn't have any issues in terms of noise and stuff like that. So, you know, I don't really have much to say in terms of complaints about him. It's just I don't dig his style. I don't dig his commentary, really. Not that, you know, there's any real issues with it format-wise outside of just himself and how he makes his points. In terms of everyone ranting and raving about how fucking objective he is and blah, 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 it's like, okay, if that's what you're looking for. I watch videos from people from different perspectives, you know, and just try to glean what I can from what they say and the articles that they always pretty much provide. That's one of the big things is I like channels that provide sources so I can listen to what they say, check their source, you know. That's usually what I do. I just don't really get the hype around him, you know what I mean? Like, again, I don't think he's a bad guy. If you're subscribed to him, I don't have no issue with it like I have with other people in the past where I've said, like, who was it that I said that you should unsubscribe from? I don't even remember. I know there's been at least one person that I demanded people unsubscribe to, but he wouldn't be one of them. You know, if you want to follow him, cool. You know, I don't care. Naked Ape got a job. Somebody asked where Naked Ape went. He got a job. Austin Kane asks, who is your favorite hero in Boku no Hero Academy or Academia? Let me Google that because I'm not even sure what that is. You're talking about an anime that I've never seen. Or is it a manga? It's a fucking... Dude, I don't even read manga at all. Are you kidding? That was a waste of $5 fucking dollars, bro. Was it Boogie? Was it Boogie? It might have been Colin. I don't remember. People bringing up all these names. I don't even remember. It might have been more than one. I don't know. I don't think it was extra credits. I think I said that I didn't understand why people, because there were people, I'm not sure if it's true anymore, but there were people that supported me at Patreon that supported them too. I'm not sure if that's still true, though. It may have been Colin or Boogie. I don't remember. Well, maybe both. But, yeah. Whatever I said, I still stand by it. I just don't remember what I said. Yeah, I know, Graham. I know about Trudeau wanting gender parity in NAFTA. I mean, I'm sure that'll get him reelected. But I'll get around to reading that article. God damn, getting some fucking acidic feedback from drinking this screwdriver. There was actually people talking about Weeb Ship. There was a visual novel that caught my attention that was a Yuri visual novel. I don't even remember what it is. That's how much out of the loop I am. I don't really. Somebody asked about what is it? Fucking Persona 5. I haven't played it in several days at all, which is unfortunate. I was going to play a little bit today, but it just didn't happen. I haven't played shit. And unfortunately, it's just another game where it's like it's having issues keeping my attention, and that's not a good thing. And that's literally been true for every single Persona game. Is that every single one is I've struggled to maintain any kind of concern, or it's failed to hold my attention. And that I can say is true for Persona 5, and it is not a good sign. I can tell you that I actually like it and find it more interesting than any of the previous Personas that I've played. But even there, it's like the fact that I'm going to have to force myself to start playing it again to see if I can start to care again, even though I'm not even that far into it. It's like, that is not a fucking good sign. And that's rare for me. It's rare for me to buy a game and then play it and then be like, maybe I'll go back to playing a couple hours in Grand Theft Auto, or maybe I'll fucking boot up Fallout or something. It's like, that should not be happening. But that has been every time I've played Persona. It's been an issue. Oh, somebody just asked. I completely forgot. I was going to actually lead with this. There's a video that's going to be going up tonight. If I didn't already say that, I don't think I did. There's going to be a commentary going up tonight. I just have to finish the end of it. Well, the problem with Persona is the fact that it fucking has too many fucking tutorials and too many systems within the game. And one of the big issues in the previous game was trying to figure out all the links that you're supposed to make. There's a million of them, and they used to just, they do it in this as well. Just handhold you. Okay, here's this link. Here's this link. Here's this link. Here's this link. Blah 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 blah. It's like, okay, listen. There can only be so many fucking supporting characters in this goddamn game. For the love of God, lower the amount of supporting characters, please. There's too many. There's too many links. There's too many fucking distractions. Just have the game. What's with all these goddamn fucking things that I have to worry about? Is it not enough that I have to worry about school, worry about answering the questions, worry about reading books, all the shit that is in this game that I have to do. On top of everything else, I have to maintain relationships with people. It's like, fuck. Why is there so much shit in every one of these games? Why? I don't like it. Have a million waifus. Great. Have a million waifus. That's fine. But why is it that, you got this politician on the street I got to go meet. You have the doctor I got to go meet who's also potential waifu. So that's fine. It's combine some of these characters into one. That way you can have the million waifus and you can keep that element, but you don't have all these other fucking tertiary characters. They don't mean shit. Jesus. Why do they insist on doing this in every game? Yes, you do have to meet them. You do have to meet them. They provide bonuses. You do have to meet them. If you want to upgrade your fucking guys, you have to meet them because they provide huge bonuses. So you do have to worry. But aside from talking the bad parts of it, I do like the protagonist more. I think he's like more stylish and cool than some of the previous ones. The secondary characters, the supporting characters are more interesting. I thought I was going to hate, oh God, what's your friend's name? The guy with the blonde hair. I forget his name. And then there's Anne. I thought I was actually going to hate both their characters. And I didn't like them in the beginning because they were really harsh towards you. But you can see them have growth and become closer to you in terms of being a friend to you. And I like the humor. There's a lot of humor in it. So there actually is a lot of redeeming elements to the game. But it doesn't suffice to keep you in the game. Like it doesn't hold my attention enough. And I actually liked the first dungeon. I'm in the second dungeon, and it's like I like the aesthetics, but I'm not really into the story. The antagonist is just not interesting to me. He doesn't seem real. And the supporting character that you get who turns into a squad mate, he's not interesting. He's just not. So it's going to be a grind to get to the second dungeon, despite the fact that, again, I like the aesthetics. It's just, it sucks. It's boring. But I've been told that that's a hill you got to get over, but it's just getting to the grind. You know what I mean? Getting over the hill of that dungeon. I've been told it's way better after that, but it's what people say. People say that about every fucking one of these games. Ryu or Raiju, however you say it. Goku. Someone says Autist. Yasuke. Oh, is that the guy? Is that the guy that you get in that dungeon? Someone brought up Kyle Kolinsky. That was another person I demanded people unsubscribe from. Okay, maybe I have demanded that people unsubscribe them from more than one account. Okay, maybe I'm guilty for that. Okay, I'm sorry. All right. I know it's time for. I'm almost finished with my second. Jesus Christ, the acid. It might be the vodka. Seriously, no joke. Lighting returns is good. You cuck. Catwoman. I don't even know what you mean. Speak English. Your 9/11 story, like where you heard or watched the tower drop. I was smoking weed with a friend, flipping through channels. Oh, I guess we could talk about 9/11. I was in school. I watched it on television. I don't even know if they allowed us to see the actual towers go down. But I know I watched like the smoke in New York City. It was CNN. I remember that. And when I got home, my mother wasn't home. My father was home. He was watching it on television. He was fucking. He was just. I'm not really sure how to describe he was really angry and he was just shocked from what he was seeing. He couldn't believe what he was seeing was real. And I asked him some comment, or I made some comment, or I asked him some question. I remember he snapped at me. But it was because of the circumstances. But yeah, 9/11 when I was young was not great. I remember that. I just remember people were really fucked up and scared, and they were really angry. I remember people making some really harsh comments about Muslims, and that's no longer tolerated. People have to say, people can talk about the left, and I have heard people bring this up, but man, if you want to find anybody that really sealed the deal on political correctness on 9/11, look no further than George W. Bush with fucking religion of peace. Look no further in terms of serious political correctness on a nationwide level. Like, that fucked a lot of things for many years. Where, I mean, people still use that talking point today, even though it's a farce. It's a joke. People talk about trucks of peace. People say religion of peace ironically on Twitter or sarcastically to mock the fact that it's so violent of a religion. George W. Bush, despite maybe his good intentions, although one can wonder, considering our connections with Saudi Arabia and the money there, one has to wonder whether it was actually genuine or not. But yeah, 9/11 was probably one of the worst events to ever happen in the history of this country. Not just because of it's in my lifetime, blah, 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 but because I think it radically altered the course of this country, and it sealed a very harmful and damaging political correctness that not only stayed in this country, but also went overseas to fucking Europe. You know, I'm not. I mean, you guys ultimately made the fucking decision to bring him in, but you know, religion of peace, what I'm sure didn't help. But ultimately, you're responsible for your own fucking misery. You made your choices. You made your bed in Europe. You got to decide what you want to do over there. You know, you want to live in fucking London stand and Danish stand and all the rest. You know, that's where you're going to fucking live. But not here. Maybe one day I'll get around to doing that video about Buffalo because I still have all the links and everything. Just no time. So yeah, there's your 9/11 story. I was in school. I remember they brought it to television and we watched it, but that's about it. Oh my god. Fucking stupid comments. Oh my god. You made your bed. Now fuck your fat chicks in it. I think you mean 9. The night of months after 9/11 was mega patriotic. That sentiment would be fucking unrecognizable today. I'm not really sure if I would even call it patriotic or not. I mean, the fucking after effect of 9/11 was just total hysteria and fear and just a societal panic. I mean, it wasn't. It was a societal panic, but it was so bizarre. Like the plastering of those fucking stupid like those what are they? They're these things that you stick on like the back windshield of your car, these ribbons. Like it was the stupidest shit ever and so insincere and frivolous. But the thing is, like, you have all these people, especially the boomers, like just wrapped up in their own inability to deal with the idea that we have been hit so hard in such a massive way. Like they didn't know how to understand it and comprehend it. So they just reacted in the worst way possible. You just had people lash out. And people said this for years. We need to, nuke the Middle East. We need to fucking, nuke the entire Middle East. We need to essentially glass all the sand niggers. And they would go that far to say that much. I mean, it was a very popular opinion right after 9/11, and it was for years. You had fucking even Howard Stern say that on live fucking radio, say that we should nuke the entire Middle East. And he didn't back down from that for years. It was only years later that he actually apologized for that and backed down. And I, credibly would want an apology in that way because that's a fucking insane thing to say. That's a fucking insane thing to say. I know now it's a joke. It's a joke now. But I mean, people were honestly saying that they wanted the United States to nuke every single country in the Middle East. The only exception we'd probably make is Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and and Qatar. Those would be the exceptions because we got too much fucking money there. Got too many financial interests. Oh, and yeah, people are in good point by Chelsea. Freedom fries, freedom toast because of France. It was a panic. It was a societal panic for years. And you had no one question Afghanistan. No one questioned Iraq. Some more people questioned Iraq than Afghanistan, but it was so unbelievably popular to invade those countries, to just seek some kind of impotent revenge onto the Middle East because of 9/11. And here we are. We're still there. We're still there. We're still spending trillions of dollars. Trump just re-upped our staying there for fucking ever. I was talking to my parents earlier today because we were talking about 9/11. And I was saying, like, I joked and I said, it's going to be a sad day when I'm 80 years old and we leave the Middle East. We finally get it out of Afghanistan. It's going to be a sad day for the stock market. And that's the truth of the matter. It's a fucking joke that we're still there. We're never going to win goddamn shit there through the means that we're currently trying to achieve it. We're not going to win anything. So we can either change strategies or continue to piss money into the desert, which is what we're doing, and waste American lives, which we're doing. And to what end? To make money for Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and all the rest of the fucking cocksucker defense industry. That's all it is. It's all it is. We're not winning. We're never going to win in our current strategy. It's just making money for those corporations that are giving kickbacks to our politicians. That's all it is. All right. That's Catwoman. Did you ever fucking clarify your incoherent statement? Yeah, the Russians didn't win fucking Russia either, bro. Do you and your parents' politics clash, or are you in the same general boat? I would say that the biggest thing that I disagree with my parents is with my father. It's civil liberties. My father's much more authoritarian than I am, and with my mother, it's on religion. She's very much a very baby boomer, aloof Catholic, and I'm an atheist, so we very much disagree there. But we like my mother and I, we're actually pretty similar in terms of actual politics. She actually liked Bernie Sanders, liked to talk about Bernie Sanders. She didn't like Hillary. I think she voted for Hillary, but she didn't like Hillary. And my father's more of like your basic bitch Democrat, and he's bad on civil liberties. He's really bad. Although I think that I've very, very slowly but surely started to turn his politics, because I mean, it's all we talk about. It's all I talk about is politics. So I've already, bro, Pepsi. What are you, bro? I've played Persona 3. Just spare me. Spare me. I do like the Persona 3 Portable's female protagonist is a lot preferable to the male fucking edgy faggot, but it's still just, it can't keep my attention at all. I've tried to beat that game twice, and it didn't happen. Persona 4, I think I've tried 2 to 3 times, and I'll never beat Persona 4 ever. People endlessly lather praise on that game, but it can't keep my attention if someone put a gun to my head. It's true. For my dad being like a basic bitch Democrat, it's true. I've expressed my frustration to him about the Democrats and unions, and I've talked to him about Trumpka, and him and I, because he still belongs to a union. He knows who Richard Trumpka is, and I've talked about what Richard Trumpka talks about, and he doesn't really say much, but I continue to tell him how much I hate Richard Trumpka, and I hate the heads of unions. They're fucking worthless. But it can only go so far. Have I ever had a Muslim or black girlfriend? No. I don't know if I'd have a Muslim girlfriend, if I'm being honest. Because the thing wouldn't be the Muslim, because the Muslim girls I have my issues with. Okay, the Muslim girls are not innocent as it relates to everything going on with Muslims. They're not. People want to pretend like they're the innocent victims. They're not. The biggest Islamists you'll find are fucking female Muslims. But I don't know if I'd be able to date a Muslim girl because I'd have to deal with her fucking family, and that's gonna be her father and her brother. I'd be less concerned about her father and more concerned about her fucking piece of shit brother, because there's a lot of Muslim men out there that are not good guys. They're pieces of shit. They're about as fucking modern as fucking the oh Jesus, I'm slipping on the fucking name. It doesn't help. The Pilgrims. They're about as modern as the Pilgrims. So maybe that makes me a bigot, but whatever. I'm more than willing to date anybody. I'll date a fucking atheist or just a more secular Muslim or a Arab. That's who I'll date. I don't really have a lot in common with a practicing Muslim woman. I'd say that if I were given the choice of dating a let's say an Arab Muslim woman or a white Muslim woman, you'd have far greater chances of me dating the Arab than the white woman, because I can tell you from what I've seen, the white Muslims are the most fucking crazy. They are the most fucking crazy. So I would never date a Muslim white woman ever in my life. That is where I draw the line, because I know she's going to be fucking crazy. She's going to be a religious fanatic. She's going to be nuts, and I have no interest in fucking dating somebody that's obviously crazy. So somebody that's born into a Muslim family, that's raised a Muslim, there's a chance where they're nominally Muslim. They don't really care that much. There's a chance they can, even if they are religious, that they can become less religious, especially if they're going to date an atheist. It says that there's room there for them to, grow, so to say. But white Muslim women, forget it. Never going to fucking happen. Kevin Bush, I've already discussed PewDiePie. Go back in the stream, I've already mentioned him. So yeah, we'll since I have little to talk about, I guess we will move this into the lightning round for fucking questions. So if you got any questions you want to ask them in the chat, and we will get to it. Yes, white Muslim women do overcompensate. I wouldn't rule out. I've only ever, and I've said this before, I've only ever dated white women, but I am more than willing to date anyone of any color. It's just a matter of whether I'm attracted to them and how they are. I'm sure that the big difference between, let's say, black women or even Muslim women in my immediate area is going to be a cultural difference. If you're from the suburbs and you're black, I'm sure that we're not going to have too much of an issue communicating and getting along. But if you're a fucking hood rat from downtown Buffalo, like we're just not going to have a lot in common. And it's just because, I'm sorry to stereotype, but a lot of black women in the inner city are either fucking, we was Kangs regressives or fucking hood rats. And just, where you could say white trash for trailer trash white girls, you could say the same for black women in the inner city. They're just black trash. I'm sorry, I don't mean to denigrate fellow working class people, but, trash is trash. And if you have no skills to communicate out of fucking vague noises that you make, I'm not interested. So yeah, I date a black woman, but we need to be able to communicate. She can't be a Kang. And there are a lot of black female Kangs. There are a lot. It's bizarre how many black women believe in that bullshit. Thoughts on Dean Takahashi being responsible for the casualization of Mass Effect after his shitty review of Mass Effect 1? I don't really know what you're talking about. Mass Effect as a franchise is dead to me. I don't really give a shit. Mass Effect 2, from my perspective, I preferred Mass Effect 2 to Mass Effect 1, so right there, you're not really, we're not going to be on the same page there, because I'd be willing to defend Mass Effect 2, and there are plenty of people that will. But Mass Effect as a franchise is dead, so who cares? Have you ever seen young Muslim men in cars painted with Palestinian flag? We have that here. I have seen Muslim men with Pakistani hoodies, or Palestinian flags on their hoodies. I have seen that in Buffalo, which definitely raises my suspicion level of them to be fucking. I don't want to say terrorists, but I'll say activists. We'll be nice. We'll say activists. I have no opinion of Sam Hyde or $1 Million Extreme. I've only seen like 2 seconds of it ever. The good thing about my area is that even today I was investigating a fucking she was like 24, 25, Asian. I think she was like half, oh god, it was like half Vietnamese, half was it Chinese? I don't remember. I'd have to look through the case again. She was half Vietnamese, half something, too Asian. She's good. She's good looking. But she's also a fucking degenerate criminal. And my position on the people I investigate is pretty similar to oh god, what's the name of that actor? Robert De Niro. My position on scum in the streets is the same as Robert De Niro in Taxi Driver. So I don't really, I wouldn't date somebody that I've investigated. I don't date criminals. If I was in it, let's say I'm in a relationship with a fucking 10, this is somebody that is out of this world attractive, otherwise decent and everything in every way, whatever, but is a fucking legit criminal, is committing fraud or committing tax evasion or just engaging in criminal activity, I wouldn't date them. I'd break up. That would be my line in the sand. I would say, I don't give a shit what it is. I don't give a shit why you're doing it. I don't care. Stop engaging in it or we're through. And, and it would be knowing that I probably wouldn't find somebody as good as them again in terms of looks and everything else. I don't care. I have my standards, and criminality is one. I have zero tolerance. I don't care. It's just something I would never agree with, because I would know that I'd be aware of it, and I would be not necessarily supporting it, but I'd be tacitly accepting of it. And I think that in order to live in this world, you actually have to live to a certain standard of ethics for yourself. You have to, in order to lead any kind of decent life. Unless you're just twisting in the wind, or you're just going to be a sad sack piece of shit that just can't agree, like, not necessarily can't agree with your own behaviors, but you can't accept yourself, and you don't really have a core. You're just kind of really of a shallow person. In order to not be that, you have to live by a certain standard, and I think that to me is very much a standard that I hold to. Is if, let's say, you speed, something like that, okay, fair enough, but like you can't be committing some kind of active criminal behavior. You can't do it. Have I ever used my job to fuck up your target? Are you talking about who I've investigated? I mean, that's what I do. And not really like fuck them up. I mean, I'm just there to document what they do, and if they go out there and do some crazy shit, all I do is hand that over to the company that is paying me to be there, and they fuck these people up. So, I don't need to do anything. I just need to report what I see. Are Bloody Marys a breakfast food? Depends if you're an alcoholic or not, and I am not, so I would say no. I've been told Bloody Marys are gross. I have no thoughts or feelings on Destiny 2 whatsoever. The first game was boring trash. I gave it a chance. It was boring trash. So, yeah, I have no opinion of Destiny 2. If Hannibal Lecter was female, would you fuck him? Get Jim on next rant. He's open to podcasts, whatever. Sure. Whatever. What's your opinion on Crown T's latest videos? I've watched them. I don't really have much of an opinion. I don't believe he's acting like Thunderfoot. I think that's incorrect. I think people are giving way too much deference to the alt-right. That's what I think is happening. And and you'll see, I say it in my commentary that's going to go up tonight. Like, by associating yourself in any way with the alt-right, you're not doing yourself any favors. Like, this is a completely toxic dog shit community that you should want to have no involvement with. And I say that practically. I'm not here to make condemnations of individual who the fuck ever's part of the alt-right, but anyone that associates with them, you are making yourself polluted because of them. It makes it that much easier to dismiss you. And I'm not saying that as somebody looking to dismiss you. I'm saying that just in general, if you make a point and you have no connection at all to the alt-right, then it's a lot harder to smear you. The press and all that still do it. But if you do have that tacit connection, then people like me are not going to defend you. And that seems to be the standard operating procedure for a lot of people. If you have tacit connections to the alt-right, you go undefended. And that's your fault. It's your fault. Don't do it. They're fucking toxic. They are the mirror version of SJWs. Whether people want to accept it or not, they are. So by allying with them, or by at least connecting yourself to them, you might as well just ally with the SJWs. You may as well. I mean, you're dirtying yourself voluntarily in the same way. Just do it. And that's up to you. You know what I mean? Like, they have the same fucking reputation. So I don't know why people do it. Overhaul says, in response to what I said before about fucking people over, have you used your job to physically fuck a person you are investigating? Bro, take a guess. No. Half the fucking people I investigate, more than half, are men to begin with. So no. Many are old. So no. And even when they're young, again, they're fucking criminals. Why would I date them? Why would I date somebody that's a fucking piece of shit? You want me to date somebody who's a fucking freeloading, worthless, just a worthless human being living off of comp? That's who I'm going to fucking date? No, I don't think so. I don't date fucking losers. Again, I'm not special. I'm not especially good looking and all the rest. You've heard me talk down about myself before. I don't date fucking losers. I'm not one. I have a lot of money in my bank account. Again, if I find a house, I'm probably going to go for a pre-approved mortgage soon. I got to do all the fill out all the bullshit and all that. I could, have no house today and a week later have a house. If I put in the effort and I had the time, I could do that. I have the money because I work. I actually have a life. I'm actually a decent person, a taxpayer, everything else. Why would I date a fucking worthless piece of shit? Why? And a criminal. Why? Why would I lower myself to that? Why? Give me the explanation. Unless you're just bullshitting and joking, which, okay then. And I'm going to say that to anyone here. If you meet somebody who is a freeloading, fucking unemployed piece of shit, don't date them. Have some self-respect. Have some standards. Don't date that person. They're a fucking loser. Somebody says was it Generic Butter says buy yourself a house and import yourself a Toronto girl? That may happen. There's another part of Canada that has a lot of Asians, but that may actually fucking happen. Like, that's not even a joke, bro. Oh, geez, some fucking heavy commentary on here. Stop being a crimophobe. No, I'm not. I'm not sure if it's. I'd have to look it up. Vancouver. I'm not sure if it's in Vancouver or not, or Vancouver. 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 I'm not sure. Dreamers. The short answer to the DACA situation is send them back. That's my answer to DACA. I've seen two longer length explanations of DACA and the whole Dreamer situation, and there's way too much danger involved with it. And I have to say that like I just can't get on board with it. Like the idea of creating a new kind of status for people that are not citizens but are still allowed to remain in society and have these different benefits and other things. And like and then they're talking about like the big worry is whether they'll actually have the right to vote or not. And it's like, okay, fuck that. Fuck that. It's like, again, like I am not a collectivist. I am an individualist. Everyone should be held to the same fucking standard. All citizens have the same rights. You know, I'm not for giving people special rights. So when people talk about, oh, the dreamers and their little kids, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They're not citizens. And unless you're going to give them amnesty, which I'm not in favor of, which no one is willing to say because they're fucking pussies, because they know that is unpopular with the public, then no, I'm sorry. They have to go back. They are foreign nationals. What do you want me to fucking do about it? I can't help that they came here with their parents illegally and now all of a sudden just want citizenship because they've been here for X amount of years. That isn't how it fucking works. You shouldn't have to undermine the Constitution by passing executive orders that have been fought against successfully in federal court because it's not constitutional. You can't tell me that just because of feelings and whatever, economics, as if that matters to a shit to anybody anymore, that we're supposed to somehow bend egalitarianism, our principles as a country, in citizenship. We're supposed to bend all of it in favor of letting in 800,000 people because of economics or feelings. No, that isn't how this fucking country works. That isn't how the Constitution works. That's not the founders' vision of the country. It is against the principles of our nation enshrined in our Constitution. Fuck off with your bullshit, your bourgeois bullshit. Live by the law. That's it. They came here illegally. They stayed here illegally. Send them back. They're foreign nationals. God damn. And guess what? I'm quote unquote to the right of Donald Trump. I'm to the right of our Republican president. What is fucking happening in this country? You know? When is it that I became far right on fucking immigration? Because I look at the Constitution and I say, hey, we shouldn't be making exceptions to the rule of law and undermine our national sovereignty and the idea of citizenship to our nation. We shouldn't be undermining that. All of a sudden, I'm on the fucking far right. Because everyone else in this goddamn country is fucking John Lennon, who's singing about open borders. You know, everyone in this fucking world has gone insane. And I don't understand why I can't just read the law and say, hey, why don't we just abide by it? It doesn't make any goddamn sense to me. Drizzle says, my window's open and my neighbor's a freeloading bitch. And as you walk by, as you said that, Lewis, unemployment for 6 months. I hate the bit. Well, I mean, when I got out of school, man, it took me 5 months to find a job. So I won't, actually, did I have a job? Okay, so let me rephrase that. When I got out of school, I had a part-time job for 5 months before I got a full-time job. So while that's not unemployment, I don't think I've ever been technically unemployed since the age of 15. But actually, no, I actually haven't been unemployed since the age of 15. But after I got out of college, I did freeload. Well, not really even freeload. Okay, I lived with my parents for 5 months after I got out of school, and I didn't like pay them any rent or anything, and I only worked part-time. So I would hold myself to a standard that says that I should have been full-time employed, but it took me 5 months to get this job. So yeah, I haven't ever been technically unemployed, but I would say that it does take some time, especially if you lose your job or you get laid off or something like that. I'm not completely unsympathetic to people that get laid off or whatever else, because it happens. It happened to my father all the time, being, you know, a tradesman and all that. He got laid off. The project ended. He had to wait for a new project to start up or to get hired. And during that time period, it's different now than it was then, but there was no fucking work. So I'm not completely unsympathetic to people on, you know, whatever, unemployment or whatever, you know. I'm not saying fuck them. They're all freeloaders. But there are people. I have a greater problem with people that are on comp for fucking years. Because it's like there are people that get injured that definitely require comp, and they will be on it for the rest of their lives. I've interviewed them, I've met them in person, I've dealt with them. There are legit people that get fucked up so badly that they're never able to even sometimes even leave their own home. They're so fucked up, and they live miserable fucking lives. It's really sad. So I am, again, I'm not against, you know, the systems and the safety nets that exist, you know, private or public, because I think it's necessary. Because one bad fall, one fuck up on the workplace, and you could destroy your whole life forever. My issue are the people that get like a shoulder injury or a finger injury or a foot injury, and they're out on comp for like fucking 8 years. It's like you're telling me that you couldn't just find another job. You couldn't go back to work. You couldn't take a light duty job. You couldn't do whatever else. No, you're just a bum. You're just a bum. You hurt your finger and you're out on comp for 5 years. You're a fucking, and that's a real case I had. Hurt their finger, out on comp for 5 years. You're a fucking bum. You're a fucking bum. You're a criminal because you're probably committing fraud, and you're a bum. And that's where I have a lot less sympathy. Let's see here. I'm so amoral. I'm not sure that's true. I don't like arguing from positions of morality outside of like something I would just discern as ethical, which is, you know, morality. But purely like moral posturing, I'm not a big fan of that. Imagine all the beaners back in Mexico, John Lennon. I think there's, I mean, I can only begin to tell you that there are plenty of Latinos in this country that have adapted very well. I think that there's a big distinction between the different Latinos that have come to this country. I would even say that there are some serious issues with Puerto Ricans. Even in my own immediate area, there's some serious fucking issues with Puerto Ricans. But there are plenty of Latinos that have come to this country, even from Mexico and all that, that have phased into this country as well as anybody else. You know, look at how many police departments have Latino cops. Look at how many there are like Latino EMTs and people, you know, first responders, plenty. And every way in shape and form, plenty of people in the military are Latino and don't have any fucking issue at all and don't see themselves as any different than any other American. So I think that Latinos in many ways get a bad rap, but that is because there are some Latinos in this country that are fucking terrible. And it's not just the illegals. You know, there are Latinos that come here from Mexico that they want to turn this country into Mexico. And, you know, and they're up against other Latinos that don't want that to be the case. You know, it's really frustrating. I've met in my own life Latinos that are fucking super conservative. So, you know, it's just too bad. I think that we enable and encourage the wrong kind of Latinos or the wrong kind of culture that certain Latinos subscribe to. I think that there are some very healthy people and productive people and decent people that are Latino in this country. And I've met them firsthand. It's just too bad that there's a lot of fucking scumbags that people just want to defend aimlessly when they themselves are. I mean, if you met whether it's Latinos, black people, whatever, if you met that person, that like scummy, freeloading piece of shit, if you met them and they were a white person, you'd have no tolerance for them. You'd see them as like, oh man, look at this fucking white trash, scummy piece of shit. Like, you'd have no tolerance for them. But because they're a different skin color, you somehow think that that's acceptable. We should accept that. I think there's ways to defend black culture, quote unquote, because of rap and other things, which, I'm not even against, even though conservatives they talk all kinds of shit about it, but I'm not even against that necessarily. I do think that there's a point to be raised about the acceptance of criminality and gang culture and that sort of thing with black communities and black culture. I'd agree with that. But, I wouldn't ever, disown and completely disregard any kind of musical interest or creative interest. You can use that to make a more productive person. There's a reason why there are rappers and producers of rappers and the rest that are fucking billionaires. You just need to motivate people to be productive and focus more on, doing well in your own life rather than being a bum. So I wouldn't say that rap and hip hop and all the rest is definitely without its merit and without its reason to exist and justifications to exist. Somebody's saying that it took them 8 months. Rio girl took you 8 months due to your industry being dicks and not wanting to hire with no experience. I mean, that's been one of the big issues. If you are a young person, that is the biggest wall you're gonna fucking hit ever, man. It's the fact that no one on the face of this earth wants to hire somebody with no experience. I saw a job that it was like so $15 an hour, something like that. And it was like they wanted 5 years of experience. It's just like fucking Jesus. Like that's like barely above what you'd make at an Arby's. $15 an hour, and you want to fucking find somebody with 5 years experience? That's nuts. I couldn't. I remember seeing that was a while ago. I don't even remember what it was for, but I remember reading that because I was like, oh man, I think I can apply to this. $15 isn't terrible. It was right around what I was making at the time. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll apply to this. And I was like, oh, I can't apply. Why not? 5 years experience. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? I just couldn't believe it. But I mean, that's standard. I mean, you'll see that everywhere. There's so many jobs that demand just endless experience. It's terrible. Graham asks, what are my thoughts on DSP? I've already talked about Dark Side Phil in the past. I'm not going to reiterate it. It's not worth talking about. Do a rant about Spix. I'm not going to do a rant about Latinos. I've only had so many interactions with Latinos. I'm sure I'd have a lot more to say if I live out west. I have a friend of mine who lives out west, and he fucking just never stops complaining about Latinos. So maybe if I lived out west, I'd have more to say. I live in New York, man. We can't get any further away from fucking Latinos. I mean, maybe if I was in Maine or something, we'd be even farther away, but I don't think we can get really far away from Latinos for that to be an issue. There are a lot of Puerto Ricans around here, but that's because of Buffalo. They keep importing them, and they should stop because I mean, the thing is like if you come to this country, and I think that this is where I enter into the territory of more like nationalistic belief. I think that that English should be the official language of the United States. I think that's something that should be changed about this country. English should be the official language, and we should enforce that all signs, all books, everything else, they're used in the public sector are only in English. And if you don't speak English, you don't get a job in the public sector. Oh, senor, I need to see the sign in Spanish. Well, then, senor, you don't get a fucking job. You can fuck right off. Go to a school and learn English. Because it's a big thing. People just want to say, oh, it's just bigotry. No, it isn't. The first issue that we have in order to retain civilization is communication. You don't know what the fuck's going on if people cannot properly communicate. That is the single barrier that prevents any fucking dialogue, any parley, so to say. You need to be able to speak the language in order to have any kind of, just decent, existence. And that's an issue. It is. So that would be one of the things I would change. And I don't see a lot of Republicans talking about that in any serious way. I would say, if someone were to ask me, what would you change about the United States right now? I think English should be the official language. And I think we should have signs in multiple languages. Well, that would be confusing for the Spanish people that are here now. Well, it's too fucking bad for them. Learn English. If we have to pass some sort of fucking subsidy, some sort of handout for these people to learn the goddamn language of this country, then I guess we'll have to do it. But the language of this country should be fucking English, and every person here should have to fucking learn it and know it in order to be here. There should not be any fucking equivocation on it, because it leads to societal problems, and it helps vet the people out of this country that don't want to actually fucking acclimatize and integrate. People that keep their language are the people that do not want to integrate. And fuck them. Fuck them. We've already seen what the issues have been in every one of these countries that have fucking their own like segregated communities, their minorities that don't integrate. We've already seen the problems. So no, we should be pushing as hard as possible for people to come here and integrate. And the big issue there is language. You can teach your kids your fucking, your secondary language or whatever the fuck. You want to maintain that part of your heritage and culture, blah, blah, blah. But if you want to be like my grandfather came to this fucking country. Outside of the people that he met from fucking French Canada, or when he was overseas fighting in World War II, he didn't speak French. He spoke English. He spoke English here. You know why? Because he lived in the United States. Why the fuck does he need to speak French? He doesn't need to. So he never did. He integrated the second his foot crossed the fucking border and landed in this country. He didn't need to speak fucking French anymore. And he didn't. That's integration. Why is it that like other people's previous ancestors, how come they can live to that standard, but here in the modern times, you are entitled to speak some other fucking language? It's ridiculous. You need to know this language to just be here in order to communicate with people. It's ridiculous. Because I tell you what, how many fucking signs, how many different things in this country, how many things do you need to be aware of that are only in English? And if you don't speak the language, you can't properly function, whether it's the highways or in a hospital or anywhere. All the things in which you need to know the language, you can't function as a person without knowing the language. So, in my opinion, there's no argument in this. It's just political correctness bullshit. Fuck multiculturalism. So yeah, there's your fucking rant. Half an hour in after I said I wanted to finish this. So I'll crack this down to the last. We'll go 3 questions. 3 questions. Jesus. Graham says he's just out of university. Good luck, bro. Welcome to hell. That's where I was. What was it? 2015, I want to say. Welcome to hell, bro. There's an Arby's around here that pays like I think it's like 13 or 14 an hour. It's crazy. So yeah, it's not far off from $15. Yeah, it's pretty close. I don't know why they pay that much. Maybe they're having problems hiring people. But that's what they pay. I saw a sign for it. I was like, fuck, that's a lot. Most Puerto Ricans already speak English. Come to Buffalo. Come to Buffalo, Pepsi Man. You'll find out. Come on over here. You'll find out about how many Puerto Ricans speak English. I'll send you an article about how they're having to import translators. You can tell me about how much English they speak. Every fucking Puerto Rican I've investigated does not speak English. Come on over to Buffalo. Oh, fuck off. New York City sending Puerto Ricans to Buffalo. Fuck off. Fuck off, New York City. Take them back. Nothing but Chinese. I know. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Toronto, probably. I know there's a lot of fucking Chinese in Toronto. Or is it Vancouver? I can't remember. But send the fine ladies here. I'll take them. That's what we need more of in Buffalo. Except the scumbag criminals that I investigate. Don't send those. Keep the fucking you know, the parasites, the social parasites. Keep them in Canada. You already have plenty. Canada is like a country composed of 25% social parasites, 25% tax cheats, and then 50% of people that are probably too stupid to do either. There is no official U.S. language, and that's, yeah, no shit, bro. That's why you codify it in law. Opinions on Filipino women. I've only met a few in fucking Buffalo, and they're pretty trashy. That's about it. English is my city. That's a meme. I saw that earlier. I think it was on Twitter. Quebec is a province of social parasites. You're right. I don't like Quebec. You know what's funny about Quebec is that there's a lot of rich people there. I've talked about this in the past. There's a lot of wealthy people there. They all suck. Don't go to Quebec. If you're a mass shooter, go to Quebec. Do the world a favor. If you're a fucking like a jihadist, go to Quebec. Do us the favor, please. Do Canada a favor. They're fucking awful. I have family from there. That's why I know. The U.S. with no official language and birthright citizenship was made to be colonized and conquered. I'm not against birthright citizenship. I'm not against that. I don't think that has to be something that's revoked. I see the issues with it, and I've talked to people about it, but I don't think that is fair. Official language, like I just said, should be changed. On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad are Latinos in New York? I can only speak to my area, so I can't even answer that question. New York, as far as I can tell, in New York City, they're a lot fucking worse. But that goes with everybody in fucking New York City. New York City is a shit city filled with a lot of shitty people. It is the San Francisco of the East Coast, so there are a lot of shit bags in New York City. Louis, Sam Hyde, I got a Gettr for you, Le Vau, yeah. Yeah, good luck in Australia. You talk shit. Good luck in Australia. We'll see. You guys are pretty fucking cucked there. I wouldn't. If you're from Australia, I wouldn't talk shit. You guys are pretty cucked. Well, Canada. The issue with Canada is that they need to fucking elect like a non betraying an idiot Trump. Like that's their version. They need to stay away from like the Stephen Harper conservatives and find somebody who's more of like a populist right winger to come in and fix a lot of the shit you guys have wrong with you. But your problem is that your mainstream like Republicans or right wingers, conservatives, whatever, they're basically like more fiscally liberal, and I mean like classically liberal conservatives, like I guess corporatist. We'll just say corporatist. Corporatist right wingers that agree with the left wing on fucking everything socially, and you have the left wing, which is basically like a lot like a variations of communism. pretty much. Like different, like you have the Maoists here, and you have the Stalinists there. They're fucking terrible in Canada. Your left wing in Canada makes ours look fucking redeemable. They are like the biggest cucks on the planet. They're terrible, and they're authoritarian and everything else. They're just awful. Yeah, I'm aware. I'm aware of what the issues are with birthright citizenship. You're not telling me anything I don't already know. There's somebody in the stream speaking Spanish. I haven't seen anybody doing that. All right, we're going a little bit over. Let's go, guys. I haven't even taken one question. I think maybe I haven't. I'm not paying attention. On a scale of 10 to 10, how bad are the Jews? I really think that the Jews are really innocuous. I think that for all the shit the Jews get, they're pretty goddamn innocuous. They don't really do anything. You have individual Jews that might do something you don't like, but there seems to be, and I've said this many times, there's very much a divide as it relates to Jewish people on things. So when you say, I get that it's a meme, but like when you say the Jews, it's like, okay, there's not a whole lot the Jews agree about. They don't even agree on Zionism. Jews don't even agree on Zionism. So when people say the Jews, it's stupid. Oh my God. Where would the Justice Democrats rank in Canada? I'm not Canadian. How the fuck would I know? So here's a question I'll answer as an official question. Someone asked, how did my petition go? My petition actually took off, and let me go look at it right now, because I think it got over 2,000 at one point. Let me check. Yeah, here it is. 1,858 is what it's currently at. I haven't really followed up with anything, because it hasn't really gone anywhere in the last 2 weeks. But as far as I know, I'm blowing theirs out of the water still in a fraction of the time. And it didn't. I contacted journals. They never got back to me. Never followed up. Never wrote another thing. I saw another fucking article talking about the statue because I think it got vandalized again in Buffalo. Never talked about the older petition. Never talked about my petition. Nothing. Just talked about the statue. And now it's a controversy. So I guess they're done talking about it. Now that there's another fucking competing, there's a competing petition, now they don't want to talk about it. But, that reminds me, there was an article that I was going to do today, but I just didn't have time to get to, where I actually left a comment. It was for Spectrum, which is the former Time Warner Cable News in this area. I left a comment, like a long couple paragraph comment to an article that they wrote. They deleted it. They deleted my fucking comment. It was the only fucking comment on the entire article. I actually gave, like, and it wasn't like me, like, saying, oh, man, fuck you, stupid cunt niggers. Like, I legit gave a very thorough explanation of why I disagreed with what was said in the article, and they deleted the fucking comment. If I have the time to do another stream and I can prep for everything, I'll show that article and I'll talk about it. But I'm sitting there like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, they actually had a moderator come in and take away my comment, even though there was nothing offensive about it outside of the fact that I disagreed with the article. It was so unbelievable. I was like, you're a local fucking company and you're deleting my comments. And it says on my profile where I'm from, that I'm from the area, but nope, got to censor the dissenting opinions. Got to keep the narrative. So when people say hashtag not all, my answer to one of the yes alls is yes all journalists. Yes, I don't, like, even Eric Kane, who's lost his fucking mind, if you haven't seen on Twitter, guy's gone. He's fucking crazy now. Yes, all journalists. All journalists are terrible. People want to point out somebody, Jim or Jim Pool. Tim Pool is not a journalist. You know, he's a very objective-based fucking op-ed guy that travels around. That's what he does. He's not a journalist. Journalists are scumbags. It's a dead field. If you're in journalism now, change your fields or drop out, or your major rather, or drop out. Journalism is dead. Yes, all journalists, they're all scum. Don't trust a single word that comes out of their mouths. So there you go. Someone just did a super chat. Who else is in this stream? Also look up Rocari High School in, is it Minnesota or Maine? They tried banning freedom of speech, and it kind of seems, sorry for my horrible grammar, I'm drink and I'm ignoring my nursing classes. Okay. Rocari High School, they banned freedom of speech. Reverses flag ban after student protest. Apparently they just reversed it, so there's not really much to talk about. Oh yeah, it is in Minnesota. They apparently reversed their decision, so there's your commentary on that. JF says, would you tickle my pickle for a nickel? No, you can go fuck yourself and take your 2 A's, whatever that fucking is, for dollars, and you can go fucking kill yourself, JF. Don't ever donate again. Let's see. Let's get 2 more questions. I'm not going to comment on North Korea because I'm saving it for later. Journal Holocaust when? Not soon enough. That's the answer to that. Would I be on board for a journo genocide? I'm not going to agree to the idea of a journo genocide. I think that we need to have a journo evacuation. That's what I think we would have in the United States. We need to evacuate the journalists. Apparently, Best Buy sale, because of the sale of Kaspersky Internet Security. I don't know what the fuck that is, but apparently it's a Russia story. Best Buy pulls Kaspersky Lab products over concerns over ties to the Russians. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'll have to save that story and look through it. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. I hope they go out of business. They will soon. All the big box stores are getting taken out by fucking Amazon. Have fun, Best Buy. You're gonna be Blockbuster soon enough. You fucking retards. Oh my god. Every one of these articles are, according to a report from Reuters, according to a report from NPR, it's all the same sources. It's all the same bullshit. It's always the same. Yes, all journalists. Again, they're all worthless. They're all worthless. God damn. Oh, thanks for that article. I'll actually, when I have time, I'll look into it. Jesus Christ. All right, well, that's 2 for questions asked. Jesus fucking Christ. I wasn't a major in journalism, but I actually was. I have education in journalism. The professors that I had were pretty cool and nice, and they are actually pretty good on, like, they talked about being objective and stuff and holding to ethical standards. I think it's just like there's something wrong in the education. Like, you have really shitty people going into journalism, listening to professors saying, yeah, be sure to be objective. This is how journalism should be, blah, blah, blah. Something goes wrong, and then they enter the fucking free market, and then they just join a company, and they just become disgusting human beings. It's just what happens to all of them. Should we evacuate the journos to a hard work camp? I don't think you actually understand what is meant by evacuation. You should look more into that. Actually, let me hold on a sec. Translates. Give me a second to look up the word. I should probably ask Kraut. He could probably give me a the actual word for it, because Google Translate, excuse me, fuck, won't give me a proper translation probably. Verkurgung.
Evakuierung.
Yeah, we need to do that to the journalists. So that's 2. We got 1 more. In honor of, can I say the word nigger in a southern accent? It depends. Well, see, now I can actually do a few different types of. So one of the things I'd like to do, if I find the time, which I don't currently have, is to actually try to distinguish someone more from Arkansas, somewhere like that, versus somebody from Louisiana who have more of that southern drawl. When they say the word nigger or Jimmy, jigaboo, stuff like that, it has a longer drawl to it. It actually has kind of a punch to it, and I don't think I can do that. But yeah, whether you're talking about your Jimmy or your nigger, however you'd like to say it, it always sounds better with a southern accent. That's what I will say. I got a super chat. For Lexer asks, and I guess this is going to be this final question: does the contradiction Nazi even mean National Socialism anymore? I really don't think it does. You'd be pretty fucking ridiculous to even believe that that's what they mean by Nazi. They don't. Dude, they don't even understand what. Dude, they themselves are fucking socialists. You really think they give a shit that they really mean National Socialism? I don't think so. What is wrong with being a National Socialist in those literal terms? Well, I mean, first the issue is with socialism. I know there actually is, because there is a distinct difference between like leftist socialism and National Socialism. There is a difference, but socialism in general is cancer. I mean, there is something that you could argue in terms of the state subsidization of, or subsidizing of industry. That is something that all governments do, and our government does now, and that is socialism. But it is to the degree that you actually are a socialist economy, and the way that National Socialists would do it, it wouldn't be fair, it wouldn't be ethical, and it wouldn't be equal. National Socialism has zero regard for our principles: egalitarianism, liberalism, all the rest. It is abiding by the Constitution, by those principles, everything else, our civil liberties, the rest. Zero regard for that. Absolutely zero. So when you say that what's the issue with being a National Socialist, it's everything that comes with that. And it would be the fact that you have absolutely no regard for the U.S. Constitution, the vision of the founders, everything. You overtly reject all of it. And at that point, the United States is not the United States. If you just mean National Socialism as a concept, I don't think you could divorce the two. I mean, if you're from another country, it depends on what your constitution is and what your beliefs as a nation are and all the rest, what your standards are and what your ethics are. But you can't call yourself like a principled constitutionalist or whatever else if you are sympathetic to National Socialism, because they're antithetical. They're mutually exclusive, to be sure. You can't have both, literally. And the one is a fundamental rejection of the other. Well, they actually are both fundamental rejections of each other. But yeah, you can't keep all the nice things about the United States and have it be a National Socialist country. They won't exist anymore. So that's what's wrong with it. You also have Joshua saying for $5 that Sargon causes arterial dilation and venous retardation of my corpus spongiosum and Cavernosi? Are you just being okay? Got some fucking $5 words for your $5 donation. I'm sure that's a dig at me, but you have to understand that I am here as the articulator. So you can say whatever you want to say to me, but I am the articulator in this stream. Would you fuck Asuka from WWE? I stopped watching WWE by the time she showed up, so I have no idea. I don't give a shit what it means, Joshua. Take your fucking $2 and fuck yourself. I don't care. Go back to your nursing classes or whatever the fuck you're busy doing. I like Greek democracy. Okay, it worked well for the Greeks. When the fucking Spartans were taken over, or the Persians, whoever the fuck it was, I think it was both at one point. When the Spartans kicked down their door and raped all the women in Athens, yeah, that's when it worked the best. That's when Greek democracy mattered most. When they were getting raped by the Spartans. Fuck you. Get out of here with your $2. Get out of here with your 2 bits. What about libertarian fascism? It's about as fucking workable. All right, we're going to end this shit because I've been going on for too long and I got some shit to do. Look up Unbearable Faggots and End on YouTube right now. It's on topic. You won't regret it. Sure, great. That's nice. Or is there anything else that's worth seeing here? Is there just stupidity? Okay, there just seems to be a lot of shit. So thanks for stopping by, guys. Be sure to follow my links. Be sure to look out for that commentary that's going to be dropping tonight. Although I'll have to finish that shit up and rush to do it because we're coming on fucking midnight here. I'm going to get myself another screwdriver. Finish that up. Fuck you, Joshua Long. I'm going to say your last name. I'm going to dox you, bro. Joshua Long, get doxed, you fucking faggot. That's what you get for your fucking $2. You get doxed, bitch. But yeah, take it easy, guys. Be sure to follow my links. Be sure to look out for that commentary. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and on Patreon. Be sure to follow me on Patreon above all. And whatever else, thanks for stopping by. Hopefully I'll be able to make a more productive stream in the near future.